Welcome back to Simbright Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to sew this beautiful 6 pieces blouse with GODGET, as you can see right there on the thumbnail. So later I'm going to bead the princess dart lines, and the sleeve tutorial I'll be dropping the link on the description box below if you really want to follow up how the ruffles are made. So you go ahead and use your bead on the seam lines, on the GODGET line. You use your bead to decorate it so it comes out more beautiful and fine. So if this is what you want to learn in this class, I will encourage you to stay till the end of this tutorial to see how this dress is patterned. You'll be needing your front basic bodice pattern. So what I have here is my front pattern, and this is the shoulder line. So this is the chest, bust points, under bust points, waist, and full length of the gown of the dress. So I'll be explaining to you what I did right here on this pattern. So the vertical measurements I took was from the shoulder. 9 inches is my chest line. Bust point is, let me keep my, so chest line is 9 inches, bust point is 10.5, under bust is 14, waist is 17, and the full length is at 26. So my full length is at 26. Okay, so my hip is 29. I just counted 1 2 3 to get to the full length. So the next thing we want to do is to start imputing the vertical measurement. So I imputed my bust divided by 4 on the chest line. Then on my waistline, I took the measurement of my waist divided by 4. So here, this is my waist divided by 4. I replaced my dart. My dart intake is 1.5. I replaced it here, 1.5. So here on the hip line, I use my hip circumference divided by 4, and that is what I have. So now we'll start up the construction of this. So the first thing we are going to do is actually a princess dart, but it has a yoke. So first I'm going to mark out my yoke line at 6 inches. So at this 6 inches, I'm going to rule a line as my yoke line. So just take your yoke line as 6 inches. Then go ahead and highlight the yoke line. Okay, so after that, you come and take your princess dart. We'll take our princess dart measurements. So here I have 10 inches. Get the midpoint of 10 inches. This is the midpoint of 10 inches. I have 5 inches. I'll place it back and mark my line, and it happens to be on this line. So I'm going to connect my princess dart right away. So I'll come. So then you go ahead and connect that princess dart to that line. So from the bust point, you go ahead and connect. Then after connecting, you come down from that point by 1 inch. So come down by 1 inch and then connect the next line. So you can see how I'm placing my pattern ruler. So connect this. So once you come from here, come out by 1 inch. So I'm going to take the measurement of what I have here, and it's 1 inch. Then I'll reconnect my ruler like this from here. I'm going to reconnect. So next, we are going to, on the chest line, I'll take the measurement of my chest divided by, bust divided by 4. My bust is 40, divided by 4 is 10. So I'll come here, So at this point, I'm going to move my tape and replace my dart. So I'll make more extension for the replacement of my dart, and I'm going to place my ruler like this for the replacement of the dart. So that means that this red line is my new line. So I'll come out by 0.75 here and connect it back like this, and extend my dart to the red line and connect it back like this. So doing that, you have replaced your dart at that point. So after that, we will go ahead, we are done. So next is to get the shape of this princess dart. So for this princess dart, I'll just want to come up by 1.5 inches from my chest line, come up by 1.5 inch. Then get the midpoint of what you have from here to here. Just get the midpoint. So for me, here is my midpoint. So I'm going to place my pattern ruler like this to create that sweetheart. So if you want it deeper, you can go, but I don't want it deeper. So I'm going to place my tape from that point, and I'm going to connect from that to the chest line. So it's actually a shallow sweetheart neckline. So I'm going to measure what I have from here to here. Whatever you have from there to there, I have 3.25. Take it back here and then connect your yoke line on a straight line like this. So here will serve as the yoke. Then after that, I'm going to come over to the bust point. From here, the center front to the bust point, I'll divide it by 2 and mark. From the waist, I'll divide it by 2 and mark. On the hem, I'll divide it by 2 and mark. So after that, I'll start to connect the points. I'll connect the points. So this side, I'll use this side, the curvy part of my ruler. Then I'll take it curvy too from here to here using the curvy part of my ruler. So here will be the Ankara. This will be the plain. Okay. So then we'll come back here, and we are going to also divide what we have here. But before we divide, I want us to contour the under bust first. So on the under bust, I'll take my measurements like this. Okay. So from this center front area, I'm going to measure my under bust measurement divide by 4. So I have 8.75. I'll come here and pick what I have here. I have almost. So my under bust measurement is 8.5, and I'll mark. So I have about 1.5 inches remaining from that point. So I'll go ahead and impute at this front 0.25, and the remaining 1.5. I'm going to mark it here. So I'll just go ahead and contour your under bust like this. Then take that point to this, and take this point to this. So from this point, okay, sorry about that, from this point you just take it to this way, and from this point you take it straight like this. So the whole of this is the dart I'm going to cut out. I'm going to cut everything out here. Okay, so I'm going to cut out my pattern now because we are almost done. So after contouring the under bust area, the next is to divide what we have from here to here into 2 equal parts. So I'll go ahead and divide what I have from here to here into 2, like this. I'll come here and divide it into 2 and mark. I'll come here, divide it into 2 and mark. So I'll go ahead and mark this way. To share this point, I just stopped at this point. So I'll just go ahead on this, measure what you have here and divide it into 2 and mark. Okay, so you will just go ahead and point this, direct it this way, because if I'm marking it the way I want to mark, I might not be able to get it. So just direct it this way. So once it touches that line, just make a straight line to the half of it. So we'll ignore this line. I believe you understand. So now this part is also the Ankara part, and this is the plain as well. So the plain one, we are going to have the plain together after we are done cutting, and the Ankara will be in front at the center front. So we are done now, and next is to cut out our pattern. So this is exactly what our front pieces is going to look. So these two are going to join together. I just separated it because of the Ankara. Okay, so I still call it 6 pieces, because here is unfold and is also 1 piece, and this is 2, and the other one here will make it 3 at the front. So I still call it 6 pieces. So what I'm going to do now, on the waistline here, I'm going to add my extension. I'll also do this here and do this here. So I'm going to add my extension right now. So to add your extension, you come with your piece of paper. So I will go ahead and attach, I will place my gum. So you pick up the first one and you are going to attach it at the beginning like this. Okay, then on this, it has to be on the waistline. It has to be on the waistline. So from here, just go ahead and add 3 inches. So after that, you connect it like this. First of all, you make a straight line, and then you connect what you have from here to here. So after that, you come up by 1 inch and then blend the pointy part. So you can just keep it like this and blend the pointy part. So I'll just go ahead and blend it this way. So after that, the next is this one. Okay, so you can see there are 3 like this. So the next I'm going to place is this. So I'll go ahead and also gum it at the back, then place it straight. So when you are placing it this time around, I'll shift it because we are only adding the extension at this part. So I'll take off this and measure my extension at 3 inches from here. I'll add 3 inches. Then I'll rule my line across at 3 inches. And I'm going to connect the 3 inches. Then I'll come up by 1 inch here too, and repeat the same thing I just did. I'll take this from the 1 inch like this, you blend it up. So when it comes to the third one, so this third one, I'm going to, like I said, it's still 6 pieces. We are still making 6 pieces. So by right, it's supposed to be joined like this. And then we have the extension here. So I'll just go ahead and apply my adhesive at the back like this. Okay, so I'll just pretend I joined it, although I'm going to separate it anyway. Or you can just keep it on its own like this, because we are going to cut it out separately and join. So I'll go ahead and rule my line. So the extension, we are going to add the extension on this side. So it's going to be on this side. So you just gum this. So measure your 3 inches here. From here we measure 3 inches. Then here we are going to connect and then come up by 1 inch and then connect. So here I've cut out, and these are the extensions. Okay, so this is what it looks like, but then we are going to join this and this to form our GODGET. Can you see that? So this and this is going to form the GODGET, which we are going to attach. So I'll go ahead and do what? I'm going to label it 1 and 2. Okay, so I'll just quickly go ahead and cut it off. As you can see, I'll just cut it off from the side. So I'm going to join this and this to use and cut the GODGET. So I'll just put arrows to them like this, and I'll go ahead and join. Can you see that? So we are joining this and this together, which we are going to attach to this panel and this panel. So here is the GODGET. Okay, and that is what we are going to attach with our Ankara for the both of them, as you can see. So now this part, I'll also cut it, and it will still have the little extension. So we are done, and this is 1, 2 and 3, and the GODGET is the 4th one. So that is what you need for all your pattern. So we'll move over to the back pattern. So but before we move over to the back pattern, note that we have a yoke here. There is a yoke here. So this is our yoke. Just simply go ahead and cut out the yoke. So I'm going to separate this yoke from here. I'll just cut it out. So because it looks squared in nature, you cut this part up, down. And this part is the sleeve area. So you can use sleeve. So I will be able to know the part. Okay. So these are all the patterns now. So we are going to cut them on fabric, and you are going to see how it looks like right now. Here is the front piece, and here is the yoke. So this GODGET will also cut it for here. But now we are going to split this pattern. We are going to split this pattern again. I'll also call it again A, B, C, and D. So I'll just split this because we are going to cut the Ankara parts. So this is Ankara, plain, plain, and Ankara. So that's how we are going to cut it. Then after joining it, we have our goddess. So I'll cut now. Before we go ahead to the cutting of this pattern, I just want to make a little adjustment to C, which is the front pattern. So on the front pattern, you are going to gum your pepper at the waistline, and on the hemline, just go ahead and extend it. So the next we'll do is to take the measurements. We have the measurement from here. Just place your tape at the center front and go ahead and add and mark 4 inches. So after marking the 4 inches, you come up and make another extension. So here we are also going to go up by 1 inch. So after going up by 1 inch, you do the necessary connection like this. Okay, so I'm going to cut out what I have here. So this is how the C is going to look. So you also do the same to this. So you just go ahead and add it up like this. So if you notice, you can see this is the waistline. So from the center front, you are also going to measure 4 inches, so that when you open it, you will have 8 inches. So I marked 4 inches here, and I'm going to connect from here. Okay, then I will connect it from here too. So for this part, since we are attaching it here, I'll just bring this to this, as you can see, matching them up like this. So this part, you don't need to go up. So what you will do is just to blend it up from this point like this. I believe you understand. So I'm going to cut it off right away. I'll just follow the line like this and then cut it off. Alright, so now the pattern for the front is ready, and we'll also have a goddess inserted at this point. Now we want to start up the drafting of the back panel. So here I have my shoulder line, my chest line, my waistline, and the full length. So this time around, the measurement is going to change because of the bust that different. My waist is now 15 and my full length is 24. So I took away 2 inches from 26 for the full length. So here is my zipper at 1 inch. I'm going to go in by 0.75, and I'm going to contour my back line to avoid zipper bulge. So I will bring in my yoke and place it at the tip of the sleeve and mark the width of my neckline. So I'll come down by 1 inch and I'm going to connect to the width of my neckline right now. So after that, I will extend my neckline for the back, so I'll be able to contour my zipper line. So I'll place my ruler from the waistline to the neckline and to the hip line. So I'm contouring that part right away. So next, we are going to take our measurement from the contour line. Our bust circumference divided by 4 plus 1 inch, waist circumference divided by 4 plus 1 inch. So we are replacing what we cut off. Then on the hip line, there is no replacement to it. So I'll go ahead and connect with my curve ruler, as you can see. So after that, the back pattern is ready for alteration. So I'll create the princess dart by taking my measurement on the armhole and divide by 2. So once I mark by 2, I'll come in with my pattern ruler and curve it into the dart, as you can see as well. So I'll come out by 1 inch and reconnect my armhole. So the princess dart for the back is ready. I've connected it into the dart. So actually my waist dart is 1 inch and I replaced it when drafting my pattern. So I want to make little adjustment right now. So just connect the dart line so it will be easy for you to cut out when cutting out the panels. Okay, so here I'm making use of the princess dart second line. So here my panels are ready. So I'm dividing the first panel, which is at the center back, into 2. So we'll be able to create the other panel. This is to label the part that will carry the plain and the Ankara parts. Okay. So now I'm going to cut out my pattern accordingly. So I'm also going to label the panels 1, 2, 3. So this is my GODGET, as you can see. So I'm going to make an extension to the third panel by 3 inches as well. Then come up by 1 inch and also connect. So just repeating what we did in the front panel. So I'm cutting it off. This is what our pattern looks like right now. So this is the pattern for the back, as you can see. And we'll use this GODGET to attach on this part. So here is the back pattern right now. So we are also going to add our GODGET. We are going to add an extension of 4 inches in between this and this. Okay, so just on this, so I'll take off this because we already have our extension for it. So the extension will be added to this and this alone. So I'm going to also extend my lines just like I've done. So we are adding this 4 inches in between B1 and B2. So from the center back, I'm going to measure 4 inches. And from this point, I'll measure 4 inches. So just go ahead and connect what you have from here to here. So I'll just go ahead and connect it. Okay. Now I'm going to cut out what I have right there on the extension. I'll match it together and trim off the down piece, as you can see. So for the front panel, this is all you need, both for lining and for fabric. So here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. So right now we now have 3, 4 of it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you add F1, F2, F3, F4. So that is what you need for all your patterns. So here I'm going to start from 1. So I'll take this away and I need to explain how I cut this. So I'm starting from 1. So 1, I added half an inch and I added 1 inch. I added 2 inches, including the replacement of our darts. Okay, so just add 2 inches on the side. And for this one, I cut it out like this, and for this I cut it out like this. So here you can see I also added 1 inch and half an inch, all over half an inch. So the front is ready, this both is ready. Okay, that is F2 and F1 now is ready. So this is how I'm going to join them. So but what I did for the lining is I came in with the lining for both of them. I did what? I have to join them together and cut at once. So just go ahead and join it together after cutting your fabric. Cut at once and add your seam allowances. So I added my seam allowances of half an inch and 2 inches and 1 inch. So that is that for F1 and F2. So but coming over to F3 and F4, I added half an inch all around and 1 inch, and I added half an inch here. This is on fold and half an inch. The hem is 1 inch. So we also have the cutting of GODGET and our yoke for the front as well. So here is my GODGET and my yoke, and for the GODGET I added 1 inch extension. I just took 4.5 instead of the 3 inches. I extended it by 1 more inch. And here is my yoke. I added 0.5 inch all around. So here I have my GODGET at 4 numbers. So now this is the front panel, as you can see. So I've added my half inch allowance, and I'm making a notch at the waistline. So make sure you make your notches at the waistline. On the hem I added 1 inch as well. So I'm going to put the panels together. Here I'm opening up the center panel, matching it up, and I'm going to sew from the down to the up to make a complete panel. You can see what I have after sewing. So after joining, this is what you are going to have. Okay, so the center front panel is very ready. So I'm going to set it aside now. So for the panel F1 and F2 right now, you can see I added half an inch and 2 inches on the side, 1 inch for my hem all around. So I cut separately the front fabric part, but the lining I have to join my paper together to cut my lining as one full lining. So it's better that way. So I'm going to join the panels together right now. So here you can see me assembling them together to stitch at 0.5 inch. So I'll go over to the machine to stitch at 0.5 inch, which I've done, and I placed my notches as well. So I gave it a good press also. So now the side panel is ready, and you can see the lining is full. The lining is full. I believe you understand. So we want to create the bustier padding now. So I'll be using my pattern to create my bustier padding. So I'm going to merge them together with my seal tape. So you can see me merging them together. Then I'll now cut out my bustier padding. After merging your pattern together, just go ahead and take your bust radius from your bust point to the under bust. Just take the measurement all around. So here I have 3.5, and that is what I'm going to use for my bustier on the side. So here is the bustier at the center front. I'll also take my 3.5 all around, and I'm going to create the marks as you can see. So after that, this I'm going to cut out right away. So I will use this pattern I cut out to cut out my wadding. So make sure you label the up and the down. So this is what we have, and I have the up and I have the down and the bust point. So here I've cut out my wadding, and I added 0.5 inch only at the center bust point area. Okay, so you can see how I cut it. So I'm going to place this wadding right now. I'm creating the mark to show the upper part and the bust point area. So make sure you have all this label. So now we are going to place it on our fabric. So I come with the side fabric right now, and I'm placing this on the fabric itself, not on the lining. So I'll place bust point to the bust point of the fabric and place the upper piece as you can see. So after that, I'll go over to my ironing table and iron it down. So here is the center part of my dress. So I also place the wadding at the center front from the under bust point. So make sure you make your notches for the under bust. So you can go ahead and secure with your pin and lay your hairstay. So I'm done hairstaying all the panels, and this is what we have for our padding. So I'm going to sew the GODGET first. So like I said, I have 4 pieces GODGET of Ankara and 4 pieces GODGET of the plain fabric, and I hairstay all of them. So I'm going to pick up the Ankara GODGET right now, and I'm going to match the side panel on the waistline. Make sure you make a notch on the waistline, and I'll go ahead and sew the GODGET at 0.5 inch. So I'll go to the machine to sew now, which I've done, and you can see I stopped my stitches exactly on the waistline. So I will bring this part of the gode and place it on the other panel, and I'll complete my bustier. So here I did it for the whole front piece, and this is what we have on our gode, as you can see, into the bustier. So this is actually looking very beautiful. So now we are going to sew the lining the same method. We will also place the gode at the center and sew the same way we stitched the fabric. So here you can see the front panel is ready, and the back panel too is ready. So the next thing we are going to do is to merge the both of them together. But before we do that, I'm going to bring in the yoke. So this is my padding. You can see the underbust is aligning. So here is my yoke. My yoke, I have 2 fabric and 2 lining. So make sure you create a notch to identify the upper part of the yoke. Then, and also create a different notch for the neckline part of the yoke. So I'm going to place the yoke right side of the fabric to right side of the lining, and I'll go ahead and sew only on one side at 0.5 inch. So I'll go to my machine now, and I'm going to stitch after securing with my pin. So I'm done stitching. I'll open it up, flip all my seams to the lining and top stitch. So I will do that for the both yoke, and I've given it a good press right here. So I'll bring in the fabric now, the front piece, and I'm going to attach it on the neckline. So you can see how I'm attaching it right now. So make sure it matches with the seam where the Ankara started. So I will lay it this way and stitch at 0.5. So I've done that for the both of them now. So next is to bring in the lining and flip the yoke inside. Then you can secure it with your pin if you want, and then sew at 0.5. So I've sewn and I'm making my notches. These notches are very, very important, especially at the center front area. Then you can chop off the seam lines. So now I'll go over to my machine, flip all the seams to the lining, and I'm going to top stitch. So I've done that, and I've given it a good press. The front piece is ready. So we'll go over to the back piece right now. So I have B1, B2, B3, and I'm going to assemble them accordingly. So you can see I added my seam allowances, and I have my zipper allowance at 1 inch already. Okay, so you can see how I cut out this pattern. So please look at how the patterns are cut. On the side of the back, I added 1.5 inch. Okay, so 0.5 inch all around and 1 inch on the hem. So I'm going to make my notches on the waistline. Don't forget to make notches on the waistline apart from the zipper line. So I will take off my patterns, and I'm going to merge the center back area to the pattern following it. So I'll match them together right now. I'll go over to the machine, and I'm going to stitch them at 0.5 inch as well. So here you can see I've stitched, and I also placed my gode just like we did for the front as well. So the gode is going to be in between the dot line. This is to spread out your front panels and place the back panel on it. So I've already chalked out my seam allowances. So I'll just go ahead and stitch them and give it a good press. So here I've done that, and I've given it a good press. So the next thing is to reduce our lining. So now I'm making sure everything is equal before I go ahead and reduce my lining at 1 inch. So I'll just go ahead and cut off my lining at 1 inch from the beginning of the zipper line. I will take it all the way to the other zipper line. So after reducing the lining right now, so you can see the lining is shorter by 1 inch, the fabric is longer. So the next we'll do is to sew the neckline for the back. So just go ahead and turn right side to right side and stitch the neckline at 0.5 inch, then and top stitch. So here we are matching the seam line, the shoulder seam line right now. So I'll just pick 3 of it and use the other one to fold it. So you can see what I'm doing right there. That's how I like to sew my shoulder seam line. So I'll match 3 together and use the other one to cover it, and I'll go over to the machine and I'm going to stitch at 0.5 inch. So I'm going to do that for both of them. So you can see I have a neat and perfect inseam right there. So the dress is very much ready right now. So next is to sew our crinoline. I have my 3 inches crinoline here. So I'll just go over and turn the dress right side to right side. From the zipper line, I'm going to match it right side to right side. Make sure you match all the seams for the gorded and for the joining of the panels. So you can secure with your pin first, making sure all the seams for the lining and the fabric are equal. Then you place your crinoline on top, and don't forget to sew with your hemming gum. So give 1 or 1.5 inch away from the zipper line before you place your crinoline. So I'm going to place my hemming gum and I'm going to stitch at 0.5 inch. So this is what I have after stitching from one end to the other, and I'm going to top stitch. So I'm done top stitching and ironing. You can see our dress is looking very beautiful and clean. So I'll just go ahead and sew my zipper. So just sew your zipper the way you know how, but I'm using perfect inseam. So I'm done sewing my zipper right now. So you can see we have a perfect inseam finishing. There is no seam at all in this dress. Okay, so right now we'll move over to the sleeve. So to learn how to sew this sleeve with ruffles, I'll be dropping the link on the description box below, okay, for the sleeve sewing. So thank you very much for coming to this tutorial once again. If you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this every day. Like this video, share to family and friends, drop your comment on the comment section and your suggestions as well. Thank you once again, and see you in the next class. Bye.